Good morning, everybody. Auronnj here with another honkaistarrail video, and today I'm going to talk to you about what to do with your trash pieces of 5-star gear. In your quest to equip all your units with great pieces of gear, you are going to come across about 95% of your 5-star drops as not good, not keepers, right? So, do you use them as EXP for your good pieces of gear, or do you salvage them and use them for reforging material? I'm going to walk you through my thought process behind that, what I'm doing with my gear, and I'm going to talk to you about your resin, the rarest thing in this game. The main stat selector for reforging 5-star gear, I've got one, and I've never used one, so that means I've only ever gotten one. This stuff is extremely rare, so I'm going to talk to you about what to do with that as well. Now, first of all, I'm going to start with the biggest tip in this game when it comes to gear. As soon as you get a good piece of gear to drop, lock it. Go into your gear menu and lock that piece of gear. You do not want to accidentally destroy or dismantle or use for EXP fodder a good piece of gear. They're so hard to get. So notice in my menu right here, I'll go to my boots. I have a couple pieces that have dropped that I'm not using yet, but I'm like, hey, this is a pretty solid piece of boots. I'm instantly locking this thing. So if I start like mass selecting gear to salvage, I don't accidentally get rid of it. That is the biggest tip in this video today. Lock your good pieces so you don't get rid of them. It's so dang hard to get one. Okay, all right. I think I stressed that enough. Let's go to the next thing. Salvaging versus using them as experience fodder. I'm going to jump into this nice piece of boots I got right here. Nice piece of boots, nice pair of boots that I got right here, and show you what the value of using 5-star gear for experience material is. I do want to say that I think a lot of people are turned away from using 5-star gear for experience, but you don't get a ton of experience for your relics in this game. I'm going to call them gear over and over again. Relic experience is not plentiful. You're going to need to use some of your drops for experience, in my opinion, and a 5-star piece, if you use it, gives you, well, that's a +10 one. Let's not look at that one. Let's look at a +0 piece. A +0 piece gives you 1500 experience, which is right in line with what other pieces are giving you. For example, if you were to select a purple piece at level 0, you would get 1000. If you were to select a blue piece at level 0, you would get 500. So you're getting 1.5 times the value of a purple if you're consuming a 5-star piece for EXP. That's not bad. And when you're talking about leveling a 5-star piece of gear, for every one of these you use, you're getting a couple levels worth of experience right there. That's not bad. It is a thing you can do, especially if you're out of like the dust right here, or you're out of the crystals. We don't get a ton of this stuff, so there is a case for using 5-star gear as leveling mats. However, I think most people, especially early on when they're still hunting for gear drops, will be pulled towards the salvage route. So what do I mean by salvage? You can click this button right here if you're a new player, and you can select a piece of gear that you don't like. Take these Bands polarized sunglasses. I don't really want these. Like, these are not a piece of gear I'm going to be using, so I can salvage them for 10 of this salvage material. So I'm going to hit salvage right here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Boom, I salvage this. I got 10 relic remains. What I can do with those relic remains is go into the synthesizer. Let me back out and get there. Into the synthesizer here, and you can make new relics. So I could go into, let's say, the Band of Sizzling Thunder area. I could click on hands, and I could use 100 of these pieces of these relic remains to make myself a brand new 5-star relic. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and do it right now, and I'm going to do this to show you how RNG dependent gear relics are in this game. I'm going to hit synthesize. Let me tell you what I want. First of all, I want substats. Hands are always attack main stat, like flat attack. I want crit damage, critical rate, and speed. Those are my 3 biggest things. Hit me with any of them, please. What did I get? I got defense, effect hit rate, and effect resist. Literally a trash piece of gear. I'm never going to use this on any of my lightning characters that I have right now, at least none that I can think of. So this would immediately be something that I would dismantle, and it would be 1/10 of a new piece of gear I could make. You know what? I do really need one of these. Let's hit synthesize again and see what I get. This time I get defense, HP, defense, effect resist. Man, if I had like a lightning DPS tank, they'd sure love this piece of gear. I don't, it's just another piece of fodder. So I'm not going to go lock either of those. And you can see how this 10-to-1 ratio, you could still just keep getting unlucky over and over again and get 2 pieces of gear that are not good. So you really need to be keeping track of what you need. I still think this is worth. It's very difficult to find good pieces of gear. Being able to get the gear piece that you want is worth 10 bad pieces in my opinion. So the main thing that I'm doing with my useless 5-star gear is reforging it into other 5-star pieces and then using all that to reforge again because I keep getting trash. All right. There's another thing I want to talk about here though, and that is if you go to these pieces like the body or the feet that don't have a locked in main stat, you can choose to use your self-modeling resin and actually pick the main stat you want. This is the rarest thing in the game as far as I can tell, and it's also one of the most valuable things in the game. So you don't just use this. Don't just immediately throw this at something. You want to be very selective when using this. And I'm going to tell you how to think about using it, or at least how I'm going to think about using it. So I'm going to go look in the guide here. I'm going to go to the Caverns of Corrosion, and I want to talk about these and which piece of gear you should use your resin on. Here's how I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at, let's say, the Path of the Holy Hymn right here. Path of Holy Hymn has 2 great sets in it, Knight of Purity Palace and Band of Sizzling Thunder. For your lightning DPS characters, which there are a lot of in the game, including the newest one, every piece of gear that drops right here could be a new best in slot piece for them. For all of your tanks in game, Fire MC, Japard, March 7th, every piece of gear that drops from this set could potentially be another best in slot piece of gear for them. So every time you run Path of the Holy Hymn, there's a chance you get a new piece of gear that you're going to keep. Therefore, I probably wouldn't use my resin on one of these pieces of gear unless I had every other piece of those 2 sets that I ever wanted. Alternatively, look at a Cavern of Corrosion like Path of Providence. You have a set in here, Guard of Weathering Snow, that I think is not very good. I've not had a character yet that I've really wanted to use this on, so every time one of these drops, it immediately just goes into the salvage pile for me. That feels really bad. When you spend 40 energy to run one of these and the only 5-star you get is 1/10 of a reforge piece instantly, that sucks. However, the Genius of Brilliant Stars is an amazing set for somebody like Sela. So if I'm really struggling to get like a new chest piece or a new set of boots for my Sela, and I have the other 3 and that's the last one I need, at that point I think it would be worth to go in here, make your chest piece or your boots, whichever one you need, cash in your resin, get the main stat you want, and then you can cross off farming one of these less useful farming areas. In fact, this is probably what I'm going to do. If we go look at the gear my Sela is currently running, you will see that she is running a purple set of boots, and honestly, I have her chest piece at plus 15 because the main stat was crit rate, but the substats on here aren't good. There's going to be a point where I just want to quit farming for her gear and start focusing on other characters. At that point, I might cash in my resin to probably get her a new piece of boots, because I have a speed boot on her right now with no real good substats on it. Sela doesn't need the 16 speed from these boots. In my opinion, you're better off with attack as your main stat, and then it would be hard to roll worse substats than this if I'm being real. So I will probably look to replace either her boots or her chest piece at some point once I've just decided I'm absolutely done farming that drop area, and then I'll cash that in. I do think the best characters to focus on if you're cashing in your rarest stuff in the gear are your main carries. Being able to deal more damage is always better, so focus on them. Characters like Sela, characters like Jinyuan. My Clara, I just got her, I'm building her up. She has literally no relics on her yet, so I get to begin all that again. Whereas somebody like a Japard or your Fire MC, like I do think you can cobble these together just looking for as much defense as you get. Yeah, bigger shields is nice, but killing stuff quicker will also prevent the enemy from doing damage. So I do think I would focus my resin towards my main carries, and I would specifically focus, I would consider using that resin once you're to the point where you're just like, I never want to run this gear drop room again, or at least I don't want to run this gear drop room again until I farmed out all the other rooms. I need to move on. At that point, I think it's okay to feel good about cashing in for a brand new set of chest piece or boots. Keep in mind, and I don't even know, let's do a little experiment right here. I don't even know if it'll let you use it for a piece. Like, let's say I went to the quantum set right here and I went to hands. Hands always have attack as the main stat. So look, it won't even let you use them on the hands and on the head because those are locked in. So that's nice. At least it's not gonna let you make that mistake. But for my body, if I was like, you know what, I just need a new better piece, I could hit crit rate right here, let that roll. Or for feet, I could hit attack instead of speed and feel better about that. So there you go. That's how I'm thinking about it. That's what I'm using them for. I am focusing mostly right now on dismantling my trash 5-star pieces, reforging them into pieces that I need. There you go. That's how I'm doing it. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I especially hope I helped you think about how to use your resin. That is just so rare. I'd hate to see people wasting it. Let me know what your strategies are in the comments section. I'm not claiming that my way is the most like energy efficient way. It's just the way that I feel the best about doing it, and I feel like it can't be that inefficient. So there you go. I haven't seen a good guide on this yet. Hopefully mine is good. Let me know in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.